Hi, and welcome to Accounting 695, Tax and Management Decisions. Thank you for taking my course. My name is Professor Bergeron, and this is your course. I'd like to walk you through and then invite you to message me with any questions that you may have. So the first thing I want to tell you is that there's a discussion board, and here I'd like for student collaboration to take place. So if you have questions on Cengage or aren't sure where to get started with research, ask your classmates, and you guys can give answers, go back and forth and discuss it. And if I need to jump in and help, I will do that as well. All right, so these are organized into modules. So the first one is Chapter 1, Introduction to Taxation. And I do provide a welcome that I'd like for you to click on and read through carefully and let me know if you have any questions on that. Okay, so here it is. The information, please read through it. And then to navigate to the next part in the module, I want you to click on the bottom so that you always go in order. So this will help you to navigate through the modules in the correct order. So this is your syllabus and course assignment with due dates. So you'll click on that to open it. And then it came up on the bottom of my screen, so I'll say open it. Please read this carefully and really take note of the bottom, which is where I give out the assignments and the due dates. So it's important to follow this list and be sure that you mark off each one as you do it so that you submit them on time. I will accept late work, but will be penalized if you turn it in late. So this is a short class. It's going to move quickly, so I encourage you to stay up to date. If you do have any extenuating circumstances, though, please email me, and I will work with each student individually. All right, and so since I'm finished with that, I'm going to go back to the course and click on Next, which is just a picture of our textbook. So our textbook is the new updated version, and I'm going to go back to the actual module so you can see a picture of it here. And you can either buy the bundle in the bookstore that's going to come with a printed textbook along with Cengage access code and some other software that we're going to be using. Or if you don't want the printed textbook, you can buy Cengage online through my course with a credit card, and I'll show you how to do that. And then I can get you all of the other codes that you need at no extra charge. So as long as you buy Cengage, then you have bought all the other codes. I just will need to provide those to you, which is no problem at all. So whichever way you prefer. Okay, so we'll be using the textbook. You'll be using Cengage, and we'll also be using something called ProConnect tax return software. I will walk you through how to use this, and this page here will walk you through how to get your own account. Just make sure that you use your millsaps.edu email address so that you get the proper version of it. All right, the research tool that we'll be using is ProConnect, and our book rep is getting us our codes for that, and I will send those to each of you so that you have your own login. And the main purpose of that is just to acclimate you to tax research software, have you do a couple research projects in it so that you have navigated it and are familiar with what tax accountants use. All right, your Chapter 1 PowerPoint and then the lecture that goes with it. So this is, all my lectures will be in Edpuzzle. This is to engage you as you watch the lecture and to make sure that you are following along and don't have any questions. So you'll press play, and then every couple minutes it'll pause and ask you a question, and so you will answer that question. And it is graded, so if you don't know the answer, I would go back and rewatch it again. If you still don't know the answer, you will look in the textbook and see. You shouldn't need to do that. It should be given to you in my lecture. And if you're still unsure, then feel free to message me. In other words, don't guess, because part of the learning in this is being sure of your answer and answering it. And you'll only be given one take. So if you have any questions or problems, let me know about that. All right, so after that, I will click Next here. That will bring us to our Chapter 1 Cengage. The first time you click on this, I'm going to say Open in New Window. It will ask you to log in or register for Cengage. If you bought an access code in the bookstore, it'll ask you to input it. If you plan on using a credit card, it'll allow you to purchase it by credit card right here. So I'm inside of Chapter 1. You have unlimited check your works, but just one submission. So, for example, I'm looking at the first one, and it's asking me to say true or false. And if I'm not sure of the answer, I'll go to the ebook and read about it, and then I'll come and I will choose my answer. It says some jurisdictions extend immunity from tax for a specific period of time like a tax holiday to new or relocated businesses. So if you read about this, this is true. It's an incentive to get new businesses to a community. And so sometimes they will give a tax holiday to those new businesses. So that would be true. And then I can check my work before I finish or whenever I'd like to, and it says that I'm correct. So it's real important to read about it first if you're not sure, and then try. Because of course I could just choose the opposite answer and get it right, but that's not going to allow the learning that I hope takes place inside of Cengage. Some of these will actually be problems. There may not be one in chapter 1 because it's mostly information. This one, for example, I like because it gives you a quick lesson. So this is a very short video, so please watch that and then answer. So this is all part of the learning tools that I have built into this course. All right, I went back to my tab, which was my Course Connect, and I'm going to navigate to the next assignment, which is your first written assignment. So this is going to be submitted and to turn it in so that we keep everything fair and everything is each person's authentic work. And so you'll read the instructions and then you will write a document and then submit it here. And then I will grade it. So let me know if you have any questions. Once this week is due, which everything will be due on Monday night, then the next week you will be working in the next module. The modules are not going to be published in advance unless you have extenuating circumstances and you let me know that you need that for some reason. I'm going to keep everybody working on a week-by-week basis. This is a short course, and what I want to do is make sure that you spend the entire week on my material. Sometimes I'll cover 2 chapters, but I want your brain to absorb it over the course of a week, because if you try to do too much at one time, you won't be able to absorb that information as I want you to. So let me know if you have any extenuating circumstances, but each week I'll make do the next group of assignments. So this is chapter 4, just to give you an idea. It's set up the exact same. We've got a PowerPoint, my Ed Puzzle lecture, another written assignment, and your Cengage with unlimited checks. Your final project in this course is what's called a final case study. And so it is going to be where we put together all the information that we learn, and I am going to go ahead and show it to you so that you'll be aware of what you'll be doing and so that you can be thinking about this as you go. Okay, your final case study will be to develop a startup business plan, and you will include the following information related to your business. So you'll have a name of business, a business product, tell me about your target customer, tell me the estimated number of employees for years 1 through 5, your estimated number of owners, shareholders, partners, however you decide to organize your business, describe your role in the business, then discuss your financing needs, and then also the pros and cons of how you plan to finance your business. Discuss the pros and cons and tax implications of choosing the following types of business forms, and we will learn about this in this class. But sole proprietorship, partnership, S corporation, C corporation. So I want you to talk about the tax implications of those. Choose one form of business and answer the remaining questions assuming your chosen form of business. So in other words, if you're a C corp, describe what, if any, forms and fees you'll be required to begin. What type of taxes will you be subject to? What general ledger account should you set up so that you can easily pull the information you need to have your tax return prepared? And you'll learn some of that when we do a C corporation tax return. What items, or a partnership, whichever one you decide. What items of income and or deductions do you anticipate you may have for your books that may differ from your taxable income? And describe the tax forms that you will be using. There's a rubric, and you must complete the rubric and email it to me separately because you're going to be submitting this case study on Course Connect, but I need you to email me the rubric. So the rubric, just make sure that you answered everything, and then you will say whether or not you feel like you highly exceeded expectations all the way down to does not meet. And then I do want you to come up with a total self-evaluation score. And I will take that into account as I grade, and I will either agree or disagree on each item and come up with my own score as well. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to the course and focus on the syllabus one last time. So if you notice, there's just one chapter due the first week because we're just getting acclimated and you're getting logged into everything. And then July 19th, you've got 2 chapters to make it through. July 26th, I want you to pay close attention because there's something called a walkthrough where I'm going to walk you through preparing a tax return. I'm going to do it in Excel, and then you can either do it with me in Excel or you can close out and then do it from memory. And then the same thing goes for how you're going to put it into ProConnect, which is our tax return software. So when you get finished, and I'm opening up ProConnect right now so that you can actually see what this software looks like, you will have had the experience of preparing a tax return in real tax return software. So you may not go into accounting, you may not go into the tax area, you may go into auditing or something else, but every field has its own software. And by learning to navigate different softwares, it will help you become proficient no matter what type or purpose of software you are doing. So this is tax return preparation software. It's one of many that are available, but each one works similar. And once you get to know one, it'll be faster to get to know others. So I hope that you find this helpful. For the Excel walkthrough, it's the same thing. You may go into tax, you may go into audit, you may not even go into accounting, but almost everybody will be using Excel. So even though we're using it for tax purposes, becoming proficient and having more practice in Excel is something to put onto your resume and also to build your skills. And then lastly is the tax return research. I'll be able to give you a free RIA checkpoint login, and I'll be sending that to you soon as I get it from our book rep. And I don't expect you to become proficient in tax research, but I do expect for you to use this to answer the questions to the best of your ability using this, and therefore you're going to be getting that experience in using tax research. So I'm going to go ahead and log in, just show you a couple ways to navigate this. And also just to remember that playing around it and navigating it on your own is part of the learning process. So I'm going to go to search, and I'm going to go to keyword search. For example, I was looking up for AGI deduction, and I like to start at the Federal Tax Handbook because that's user-friendly language, and then also look at the code and the regs and the publication. So I'm going to click search, and then I'll have a list of items to see. So it's natural to want to go to Google, but Google, we don't know who all is publishing that information and whether or not it's kept current. So it's always a good idea to use actual tax research software, and that's why I'm incorporating this into my class. So, for example, I'll click on this this handbook, and see what it has to say about our deductions. And then you've got a list of items, and then you can reference it and read about them here. So hopefully this just introduces you to my course. Please email me, and my email address is listed on my syllabus if you have any questions at all as we go through. And again, I thank you for taking my course, and I'm looking forward to getting started tomorrow. Thanks.